Collective, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well. It is July 29th, 2025. The time is 5:17 p.m. There's some stuff going on now. I woke up this morning and it was a little quieter, a little more quiet than it has been. It's been getting progressively more and more quiet. Tomorrow, the 30th, this curator has said something is going to happen. So they've been talking about a mass exodus, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, I guess. In the meantime, let us go ahead and tap in and get a story for the collective. I hope you're doing well. Storyline for the collective, please, Spirit. Storyline for the collective. What story would you like the collective to know at this time, please, Spirit? Storyline for the collective. All right. All right. In the central energy, we've got the Chariot. So you've got a victory over something. You've got your Chariot. There's forward momentum. In the challenge position, Seven of Swords. Trickery and fraud. Fraud is a big thing. You know, some people are really good at illusions and masking themselves. So very good. In the subconscious, the Hierophant. The Hierophant. Most High God is here watching everything. There's trickery and fraud going on. You're getting ready to make a journey. You're taking off. You've got a victory. They're still here trying to commit fraud, so you need to use your discernment. In the recent past, the Emperor. The Emperor. Controlled, disciplined, protection. Intention and expectation, we have nostalgia here. A return to innocence. A return to joy. That space and time, you know, where you can stop and smell the flowers and you don't have to worry about somebody spraying some kind of poison on it that's going to take you out, right? In the near future, Tower. So the Emperor could be looking at the history of things and he might be bringing somebody a tower. There's a sudden change here. He's doing his research. The lens is being looked through. High Priestess. So I've got the Hierophant, the High Priestess, and the Emperor. Ooh. The lens that's being looked through is strength. Very, very strong. Focused. Hopes and fears. We've got release or sacrifice. Letting go. And the outgoing energy. We've got the Queen of Cups. The love of divine feminine. All right, now what are you guys doing? Got my ashes. My ashes are not going where they're supposed to go. So you're very resilient and persistent in this Nine of Wands energy. Your faith has been tested. Your boundaries are up. Your boundaries are up. We've got a Knight of Pentacles working on a routine basis with a Three of Pentacles. So they've been working together. And the King of Swords has mental clarity regarding that, and he's bringing death to it. Because what? Because he persevered. And now they're going to lose everything with the Five of Pentacles. All right, so we got the Chariot here. Forward momentum. Forward momentum. What's going on, Spirit? Death. Could be that you have a victory over death. You're departing, and that's bringing an end to the cycle. You could be leaving, which is bringing an end to this. Like I mentioned, the curator was saying something was supposed to happen on the 30th, and they've been talking about an exodus. This could be a timeline shift or a jump. Please take that as it resonates. So the challenge here is the Seven of Swords, fraud. So you're victorious over death. You're bringing about an ending to the cycle because you're leaving behind fraud. What's going on with this? What's going on with the fraudster? We've got the Four of Swords in the reversed. So Seven of Swords, trickery and fraud. Those who have betrayed and deceived others are in a Four of Swords reversed. They're exhausted and burnt out. Stressed. They don't know what to do. Death is here. The end of a cycle. They're freaking out. The Hierophant is here. Dealing with the devil. Bringing some form of conformity. The other day, I had the vision of an orange arm with long blank fingernails. It could be that God's dealing with the devil right now, and it's still happening. It's like, I thought they came to some sort of an agreement where the devil was going to remove everybody out of the mental field of the human collective, but it could be that there's still some stuff going on here. Yeah, because your victory is bringing about an end here, or the fact that you are leaving is causing a death for tricksters and fraudsters, these devils. The Emperor is here, controlled and disciplined regarding the structure, regarding rules and the way that power is utilized, and again the Chariot. So he's moving forward. He's got some practical, sensible, simple things, man. It's not difficult to get along in the world unless you're dealing with trickery and fraud. And then things get complicated, right? So anyway, he's got a victory here. He's departing. And then we've got the memories, the Six of Cups here. So some nostalgia. And the Hierophant again. Back to a time of traditional values that are connected and sacred, in alignment with the Most High. It could be that the Emperor is here moving forward on the history of what's been happening here, and it might be due to some kind of a religious thing that he's looking at the history of. And there's a tower here. Or maybe he's with the Hierophant. The Hierophant is down here dealing with the devil, and the Hierophant is up there dealing with memories, and the Emperor is here victorious. But we've got a tower here for a magician. So the magician is undergoing a tower for creating illusions and bringing fraud and all that other stuff. They're looking at the High Priestess energy. This came out and it flipped upside down, and somebody's holding back. We've got the Fool in the reverse. So there was a magician here that was trying to hinder for the new beginning for the High Priestess, and they're undergoing a tower. They made some bad choices regarding the High Priestess. So we've got strength and courage here in the environment. For Queen of Wands, so she's determined and focused. She wants to live her damn life. Leave her alone. We got the Hanged Man here. There's release. So there's a hope of letting things go. Letting it go. You're letting this devil go. You're letting go of tricksters and fraudsters. The Star. Somebody's surrendering to the light. Somebody's being released by the light. There's a change happening here. They're in trouble for trying to sacrifice the Star. We got the Queen of Cups here. Loving, nurturing, sweet. And we've got disconnection. Contemplation. Victory. For the Truth, the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles is here celebrating with the community. So somebody's disconnected from the love of the Queen of Cups. They have been released from the light, or they got to surrender the Star energy because they were trying to stop or hinder the High Priestess's forward momentum, her new beginning. This magician who's in a tower right now for doing that. Love has freedom, patience, everything in divine order. Absolutely. Those people who have gifts of the soul that benefit them and others will be coming into relationships that serve the higher good. This is going to be the change that is coming about here. You are here in service to the health and well-being of the realm, and you feel good when you can uplift the environment. These ones have failed to move against you, and that's just that. So you got the Chariot here. Your victory is causing a death to this cycle, an ending to the cycle. Your leaving causes death for somebody. This fraudster. You've got a victory over death. Take it as it resonates. Humor. Looking at the lighter side of life. So there's an end to the cycle, and you're focusing on the lighter side of life. It's like, you know what, I'm not going to deal on this crap, you know. The challenge position, you have the Seven of Swords, trickery and fraud, exhausted and burnt out. So those who are receiving an ending of a cycle are stressed, man, hard. because you focusing on the lighter side of life, you keeping your vibration up, really screwed things up. You know, they really did their best to lower your vibration and to turn, look, failure. Those who were committing trickery and fraud are in deep contemplation right now because they have failed. Your victory is bringing about an end of a cycle, and you're looking on the lighter side of life. The Hierophant, could be the Most High, is sitting here dealing with codependency, this toxicity. Denial. So the devil's receiving a denial. Those who are codependent, those who are toxic, those who have been committing fraud and trying to and harming others with deception, they're getting a denial from God. They're not moving on. There's death, and they have failed with their fraud. We've got the Emperor here in a chariot. So he's moving forward with authority, with discipline. With discipline. He's successful at it as well. So he's in his chariot. He's successful. He knows that there is no greater goal than to love. And we're looking at the history of what? Institutions, religious institutions. So he's looking at the history of religious institutions. He's so busy. And there's going to be a change. There's a change. So there's a change here regarding religious institution. There's a tower here for the magician. And they're in fear. Because this high priestess has high morals, and she's up there, source connected, and they don't know what to do, maybe because they did not get a new beginning with the high priestess. They don't know what to do because they've been trying to stop the new beginning for the high priestess. They're in fear because the Most High is here, and the Emperor is here, and stuff is happening, man. It's happening, and it's gonna culminate. Like, we're in some serious times right now. Tomorrow is supposed to be the big day for some big thing. I don't know what's going on, but whoa, what the heck? Blame. So these ones, the high priestess is here, holding back those who were blaming her for whatever their nasty, fraudulent, deceitful tactics were. Yep. And they have to accept the things they cannot change. The negative energies are being removed to make room for peace for those who are of a loving nature. So, yes. So the high priestess is here, holding back a new beginning for those who were blaming her for their own nastiness. They have to accept what they cannot change. The negative energy is being released to make room for peace and love. Balance, love, and service to the whole. Helping others rather than setting them up for failure and then laughing like a sneaky little twit. So you got the Strength card here. Courage, compassion, focus. For the Queen of Wands, she's very confident and she's determined. And we've got health. So I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. So she's very serious about life and health. She may be strong, or she's doing something to strengthen, determined to strengthen the health and well-being of the flesh temple, which houses the soul. We've got a release here, the Hanged Man. So there's a change. There's a letting go, or maybe there's a sacrifice. Somebody was trying to sacrifice a star, or they're in deep insight and changing their perspective regarding the star. So they're looking at a new perspective. They want to surrender. There is a change here for the star. Those who were trying to sacrifice the star are seeing with new eyes And we've got no forgiveness. No forgiveness. Queen of Cups is here. Emotionally stable. And somebody's in doubt because they've been disconnected from the love of a mother. They want to reevaluate themselves. Queen of Pentacles is compassionate, caring, emotionally stable. And these ones have been doing everything in their power to destroy the mind and the heart of a woman. A disciplined and happy woman. They're in regret. Because of their envy, they were bringing adversity to her. And, you know, a limitless, now this is the death to their abundance. They've been found guilty. Their dream come true. They lost their dream come true when they came for you. It's just over. So there's death to their abundance. They're no longer able to pull off of you. They've been guilty of messing with the mind. And it could be these were prideful friends at some point. Who knows? But you're an honest, trustworthy person, and they need to surrender their need to control your purpose. And they're worried because their judgment is they're going to be left alone, like they left you alone. It's over. You persevered through grief, and you grew in consciousness and awareness. So you're victorious here over all this malarkey. They have failed, and they've been disconnected by the nurturing and the love cup of the Divine Mother, the feminine star, the life giver, the rejuvenator, the one who makes everything okay. So they're not going to get any more of that. Nope, all done. The Hierophant is here telling these codependent, toxic people that they're being denied. Denied, denied. They fell into a trap. They're denied because they were trying to trap you and steal your real estate and your reward. You're in the Chariot, and you've got a victory. You got a victory over death. You got a victory over this. It's bringing about an end to the cycle, and you're choosing to focus on the lighter side of life. There's a transformation here. Rejected. Re-freaking-jected. So somebody is rejected. You're choosing to focus on the lighter side of life. You're rejecting these people who worship death and worship violence and worship fraud and lying and cheating and stealing and getting off on hurting people that are good, loving people. Not going to get it. So these people that were in the Seven of Swords, those trickster fraudsters, they're exhausted and burnt out. They have failed to move against you. They're being very stubborn. They don't want to hear it. They might be having some troubles with their mind. They're very arrogant, and they have failed. They're getting all nutty in the head. The Hierophant is here dealing with this codependent toxicity of this devil, and they're receiving a denial. They're being denied. No more access. You're getting cut off. No more relationship with batteries. No more brutalizing the mother. No more stealing her health, her wealth, her peace. No more trying to destroy her love, stabbing her in the freaking heart, RAPing her. Done. We're going to go. She deserves peace and relaxation. So they're being denied. It could be that the Hierophant is dealing with this devil because these ones were denying the Queen of Cups peace. The Emperor is here in the Chariot, and he's successful. He knows that there's no greater goal than to love, and he's moving forward. It could be a departure. There may be a splitting of the timelines. There may be a dimensional adjustment. And that's good news. He's here performing a miracle. So, they're looking at the history of religious tradition, and there's a change in order. In marriage. There's a change in marriage. So they're looking at the history of this religious institution who has been marrying people, and there's a change in the way these marriages take place, in the way these contracts are gained. This magician is in a tower, this illusion maker, you know, marrying people falsely, you know, gaining a contract through some freaking weird shit in the astral realm and then never showing up in the 3D. They're in fear because they're losing their freedom. Yeah, for tampering with other people's fates, they're losing their freedom, and that's justice. They're being cast away. No more can they be here effing around with people, casting illusions, committing fraud, stealing their wealth, stealing their health. Look, gift. So they're afraid of your gifts. They're afraid of your promotion. They're in a tower because you are receiving an upgrade. The high priestess is here holding back those who are blaming her for their own putrid ways. They have to accept the things that they cannot change. The negative energy of these mask wearers is being released to make room for love and peace. They're being stopped. Their strategy is being stopped. Their mind reading people is being stopped. There's the strength here, courage, subtle power, but she's wielding that wand, and she's very courageous and confident, and she's like, this is my life, and I'm determined to live it in a healthy manner. So she's here dealing with health. She's committed to health. This could be, in the astral, this could be a feminine who's been assigned the role of, what do they call that? You know, here they got a man dressed as a woman, or a big old hefty woman that's in charge of your health and well-being. What do they call that? The nutritional admin or whatever. So anyway, it looks like we got a Queen of Wands here who's very strong, and she's committed to the health and well-being of the physical vessel that enshrines the soul. So it looks like we have a new health overseer, perhaps a new leader or admin of the community, health and well-being, the dietary plan, the pyramid of the food, and what happens in the medical field and all that stuff. We could have a new, I don't know what that title is. Anyway, so we got the Hanged Man here. There's some surrendering. They're seeing things from a new perspective. You know, those who have been trying to sacrifice the star or light-bearing people, they're seeing things from a new perspective, and they're releasing, or they're being released from the energy of the star, and there's no forgiveness here. For a network of people, this whole network of people are being sacrificed or released out of the star energy because of a triumph, because the star triumphed over, oh my gosh, the star triumphed over loneliness and sickness, mental disturbances, natural disasters, accidents, house catastrophes, whatever, and a bunch of stress and being confined. So it's like they locked this person up in every way that they could. They shut them down in every possible way, thinking that they would never, ever, ever make it. The curator has said many times that it was impossible. This person did the impossible, and now they all have to go walk the walk. They have raised the bar up to a level that they considered impossible, and they have to meet those standards in order to be accepted back into this exclusive membership only territory. Yeah. So you got the Queen of Cups here. Healing, emotionally stable, and disconnected from these people here, this network. They're hesitating. They don't know what to do. They're having doubt. They got different things coming into both ears. You know, these people now, I don't know if they're cyberware telepathically connected, or if they just have gifts that they have stolen from actual stars that were sacrificed in the past. I don't know why they still have telepathic communication going on. They should have been evicted out of that scenario a long time, or at least recently, but maybe that'll happen tomorrow. Right now, they're listening to one on either side of the shoulder. They're having doubt. They don't know what to do. They're being disconnected from the love of the mother, and that's it. That's it. Because they were messing with her mind. They were casting illusions. They were cursing her mental body. They were cursing her dreams, her plans. They were casting lots and lots of illusions regarding the love of the mother. This is the conclusion of these prideful people collaborating together against her, against Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine, it's time to come into your reward. Why? Because you have stabilized during this whole brutalization, this whole freaking nightmare that they put you through, these bullies. And you did it, and there's evidence of you doing it. You did it with love. The research says your love, you loved yourself to health. So you're going to have some sweet dreams. It's going to be sweet dreams in the mental body. Like nobody's going to be able to get into your dreams, cause you nightmares. So they're not going to be able to wake you up at midnight and keep you up for hours on end, having their little planning session on who they were going to screw over, you know, or eliminate, or whatever the hell they were talking about. So now they're going to be blind to the rituals. They're going to lose their information to magic. And it could be that they're no longer able to curse your sight or your mind or any of that with magic. Take it as it resonates. You've got a new family tree here. You've got a wonderful vital force. You have lived and learned. This was a training ground. You've learned a lot of things, and you've triumphed here again. So that's that. Yay. Misfortune. Misfortune. These prideful people are going to prison for the misfortune that they have been bringing to the gift. The gift that was here to improve their lives and to help elevate them into a higher vibrational frequency. And they got so sick with that frequency, they decided, no, you're going to get dragged down here with us, and we're just going to siphon off of you and have a party with all those gifts that you brought to help us elevate. They didn't want to elevate. They didn't want to. They wanted to hurt somebody. So you got a victory over death, or your victory is, and your leaving is bringing about an end to this cycle. You're rejecting these people. You're withdrawing from them. You're looking at the lighter side of life. And they're all up in their heads and their thoughts, and there's melancholy. Like they're very upset. This is over. And you're rejecting them. You don't want to have anything to do with them. They're being rejected. This trickery and fraud, Seven of Swords energy is exhausted. They have no energy. They've been cut off from your light. They can't harvest the sacral womb energy anymore. So they can't fuel their magic with it. Excuse me. They are stubborn and arrogant. They have an attitude because they failed. They failed in their service. It was their service. They got paid to do this. So the Hierophant, the Most High God, is here working, or with this devil, working on what? On what? They were denying the Queen of Cups here peace, tranquility. It could be that the Hierophant is here with this codependency, now denying the devil peace and tranquility. They did it to the mother, and now they're going to have it done to them. The divine masculine The Most High God and all of the kings and the queens and the gods and the goddesses throughout the universe or whatever, they're all here like, hey, dudes, you really messed up our reputation, man. What the hell? This is supposed to be, you know, sacred. Now they need to go see a doctor. So they're going to have to see a doctor. They're being denied peace. They're being denied the ability to relax. They got to go see a doctor. They got some stuff going on in their head. They could be having some serious stuff going on in their head. We got the Emperor here with the Chariot. He's moving forward. He's successful. He knows that there's no greater goal than to love. He's working miracles. And people are in despair. Or at least these fraudulent people are in despair. He's looking at the history of the Hierophant, this traditional value system, and there's changes being made on behalf of marriage contracts. No more thieves. No more thieves. So the thief is not going to gain a marriage contract. If they are a thief, if they have any intentions of thieving or anything like that, they will not be getting a contract. Nope. There's a tower for this magician. They're praying to the Lord right now. They're in fear over this promotion or over the gifts that the Lord has, that the Most High God and this Emperor are wielding here. And they're with the High Priestess. They're all these gifts, these beautiful high vibrating. I mean, this is yeah. They thought the angels' energy was hard. I mean, yeah. So we've got conversation in the reverse. There's no more conversating with the gift. They're afraid because they can't get into the mental body of those people who have gifts. They can't associate, speak to, be involved with in any way those who have gifts. Their enjoyment of these gifts is over. No more talking with them. No more having anything to do with them. You're not going to get a marriage contract with them. They're like, oh, but Lord, it was all the old woman. It was the old woman. She was the enemy, and she gave me hope. She said if I was a faithful little soldier, consistently messing with people in the room, that I would celebrate and get a wedding. And it didn't work out that way. High Priestess is here, holding back those who blamed her for their own crappy life. This mask wearer, these mask wearers, these pretending fraudsters are being stopped. They have to accept the things that they cannot change. All of that negative energy is being released to make room for love and peace. Gotta make room for love and peace, man. Yeah, the Lord is stopping them. The Lord is stopping them. He's like, enough. You're not going to be pretending to be this one or that one and try to go in and steal their destiny. It's just over. There's strength here by the Queen of Wands. She's very determined to honor the physical vessel that enshrines her soul. She's committed to health and well-being. This could be the new national health guru or whatever. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. We've got money in the reverse. So there's no money. It's not about money. She's not getting paid for it. Some folks who are getting let go, they are seeing the star and the light and all of the gifts that come with the rejuvenator with a new perspective. There's no forgiveness for this network that tried to sacrifice the stars. And we've got widowers. So they could be losing family members. Yeah, those who tried to sacrifice the stars or who have been doing that, they're losing their family now. They're losing family members. This whole network of people, there's no forgiveness. The Lord is here. The Hierophant, the Most High God is here. They're sick, man. They're being denied relaxation, no more peace for pleasure seekers. Nope. The Queen of Cups is here, emotionally stable and disconnected from these ones who've been committing fraud, these mask wearers. They're hesitating, they're having doubt, they're getting multiple messages from the good and the bad angels, or whatever they want to say. They're hearing things. This servant. So the servant is hesitating, they don't know what to do, they're having doubt because they've been disconnected from the one who's been nurturing them and making life okay. They cannot pull off of those resources anymore. They cannot receive any of those services. This priest is surprised. There's a huge surprise here. They were about false love. They lied about love. They spread so many lies about love, bringing misfortune to the gifts, the stars, and all of those good people, the high priestess and all of that. And the prideful, haughty, stubborn, jacked way out of proportion regarding their own sense of self, they're going to prison. Because love and lovers are in this house. Those who love will be in the house. And these pleasure seekers are getting a letter that you've got wings, or there's frivolity. You've got wings. And what? Those who have wings, those who have earned their wings, are the new merchants, the new buyers and sellers, the new authority over the merchandise of the earth angels. There has been a reunion with the sweetheart. The Lord is here. Yeah. People are waiting to make a journey. They're sick. So they could be sick. They're getting ready to transition into the spiritual world. They might be sick because they were a friend to this wife, and they're sighing because she was innocent. And whatever they did, it's like, I heard that she doesn't recognize them. These people have been sacrificing this person so many lifetimes. Every lifetime they have unalived this person in a sacrificial ritual. They have done it so many damn times. She can't recognize who they are because they've just, they brutalized her mind over and over and over again. And they pretended to care and to love for her before they actually unalived her in this brutal fashion for gain. It's terrible. They don't get to be in her presence anymore. She's a freaking high priestess. And they blamed her. They covered her in blame and shame for gain. There's no forgiveness. There's no coming back from this. There's no re-entry into her domain. The Most High God is here. The Hierophant is here saying no. The Emperor is here saying absolutely the F not. You're getting right out of here. The mask is saying, guess what? The Lord is saying, guess what? No, absolutely not. All of those people who have been pretending to be high priestesses or to be this high priest, all those people who have been wearing masks, pretending to be the loving mother, yeah, they're being stopped. He sees them clearly for what they are. Disruptors, envious, jealous, haters, who are just out there looking for a good time at somebody else's expense. So you've got a victory here. You're in your chariot. You're bringing about an end to this cycle, and you are rejecting people by focusing on the lighter side of life. It could be that whatever they were bringing to you was rejected or repelled or whatever because of your high vibration. They're all up in their thoughts. They're having melancholy thoughts because your intentions are pure. Your thoughts are pure. You're focused on the lighter side of life. You're not here trying to scheme and scam and plot and plan how to hurt somebody. The challenge was trickery and fraud, and they're exhausted, they're burned out, they have failed, they're being very arrogant and stubborn right now regarding services. They envy you for the services that you provide. They didn't just want to be served by you, they wanted to be you. Therefore, they had to take all the things that belonged to you and then take charge over who gets something and who doesn't get anything. And they kept everything for themselves while society failed. So the Hierophant is here, dealing with codependent toxicity. They are being denied the opportunity to relax or have peace. They need to go see the doctor. They're sick over your love. Love makes them sick. They can't deal with love. The love energy actually makes them nauseous. They can't deal with it. It makes them want to vomit. They've called me sugar and barf. It's like they want it, but it makes them want to throw up. You know, it's like it's this weird thing. They're not able to embody the energy of love. They can cause it suffering and then harvest it after that and dress up in it and then pretend that they are love. But they can only harvest the energy once it's been downgraded, brutalized, potentized or whatever. So the Emperor is here, disciplined in a chariot. He's going in a new direction. He is going somewhere. He's successful. He knows that there's no greater goal than to love. He's performing miracles here, and somebody is in despair. They're in despair because they need a big favor. Or maybe they're in despair because you're receiving a big favor, a miracle. They're looking at the history of traditional values regarding this Hierophant here. There's changes being made to marriage contracts, and there won't be any thieves gaining any contracts. They want to apologize. No thieves will be getting a contract with a sweet love because they were bragging. Look, they were bragging about getting stuff off of their chest. They were bragging about bringing yelling and conflict and chaos to the sweet person's love. Collaborating together to get dates with people who were sweet love. Checking in with the mind, seeing who is sweet, who is kind, who has a house, who has a car, who gets paid the most because they need a sugar mama. So there's a tower here for the Magician. They're in fear because they can no longer have communication with those who are a gift. It's goodbye. The time has come to part ways. The High Priestess is here, holding back those people who were blaming her for their own bad choices. They have to accept the things that they cannot change. Negativity is being released from the realm to make room for peace and love. These mask-wearing, fraudster, duplicate, whatever, they're being stopped by the Lord. Their entertainment is coming to a complete stop by the Lord. He's putting an end to this game. They need a loan. The greedy people need a loan. They've lost everything. So there's strength here and focus by the Queen of Wands. She is committed to her health. She's got a commitment to her health. And there's no money being made available to the imposter. The imposter did not get the money. They're not going to get the money. The money could be health and well-being. It could be just a vital force. It could be the star energy. So you got strength of the Queen of Wands, committed to health, and the imposter did not get the money. Because you can see that they're not who they said they were. She might be dealing with somebody trying to bind her for money. It's not happening. These people who were sacrificing the stars or light-bearing people are seeing from a new perspective. They're being released. There's a change here And there's no forgiveness for this whole network of people, these friends that were hurting light-bearing people for gain. They feel as though they've been tricked. They're a widower. They've been losing, or maybe there's no forgiveness for causing widower, for tricking people into this. So they were getting marriage contracts, and then they were unaliving their partner for gain. This thief. No more marriage contracts for unaliving widowmakers, black widows, whether they be masculine or feminine. That's exactly what these people were. They were marrying people, then they were unaliving them with witchcraft or suicides or some kind of accident, you know, whatever. You know what they did. So anyway, Queen of Cups is here. She knows the truth. She's very honest. And these servants are being disconnected. They're having doubt. They're having doubt. The servant is traveling. The servant is leaving. The servant is leaving. Who they thought was a servant is leaving. The Queen of Cups is leaving. Disconnecting from these people. They don't know what to do. It's like, no, you can't have any of it. You can't keep it. You can't taste it. You can't eat it. You can't nothing it. Those days are done. Goodbye. So the Chariot's here. You gained a victory and you're moving on. This is the end of that cycle. You're focusing on the lighter side of life and you're rejecting these people. They're all up in their thoughts and they're in melancholy because you are happy. Your intentions are pure and you only want to live life in sacred space. You want to improve the life of this sacred space. And they're all up in their head because they're getting rejected, because they have proven that they're not about improving life for the sacred space. They've been gaining contracts, gaining false contracts in the astral realms and bringing misery to people here in the 3D. So they're fraudsters, they're tricksters, and now they're exhausted and burnt out because they're being disconnected from the star. They're stubborn and they're arrogant. They're getting all crazy in the head. They have failed here. They envy your service, or they envy what it is that you bring, or they need services. Yeah. See, you were here in service. You were here to help people, and they envied you. So rather than, receive your services, they decided to envy you and then brutalize you and take all your stuff and then lay claim to it. Lifetime after lifetime, they brutalized Divine Feminine and siphoned her inheritance, her wealth, her energy, her love, and they tried to flip her. They tried to make the bringer of life and the nurturer of everything good into a destroyer. They stole the house of the human being, this realm here, and they turned it into a freaking battleground. They tried to destroy the love of the mother, and they destroyed the integrity of union, of marriages. So the Most High God is here dealing with devilish, codependent toxicity. They are being denied the opportunity to relax. They're sick about love. They're sick now. They're sick now. They were fighting with love. Love wasn't in competition. Love wasn't hurting anybody. Love was here to nurture, to care, to uplift. And they fought love. So now, they're being denied love. They're being denied relaxation. They're being denied all of the peace and all of the benefit that was being provided to them by love. The Queen of Cups, the love of Divine Feminine, is released from this contract. These people will have to go out and be who it is that they are. There's not going to be anybody here for them to wear a mask and pretend that they are. They're all leaving. So the Emperor is here, and again, with a victory. He's making forward movement. So those who are successful, those who know that there's no greater goal than to love, are getting a miracle, getting great news. There's a big thing happening here, and somebody is in despair. The Mimicker. Yeah. Those who are pretending to be you, the Mimicker is in despair. The history of traditional marriages, the history of this Hierophant marrying people is being changed. There's no more thieves getting a contract. There will be no more stealing material wealth, energetic wealth, happiness wealth, any of that. No thieves are going to get a contract with a sweet love. They're wanting to apologize. But you know what? They had so much fun doing that, man. It's going to take centuries for them to actually shift, because it was part of their life. It's part of their soul, if they even have a soul. They sold out, man. They betrayed God and every sweet freaking thing that He gave them to make their life better. The anomaly. Now they want to apologize to the anomaly for stealing from them. And it's like, these people are so freaking foul. No apology will ever suffice. They cannot compensate for the damage that they have done throughout the centuries. They can't. They simply can't. They did it to too many people for too many centuries. It was a daily practice. They can never compensate for the damage that they have done. So they're in a tower. This magician and all these illusionists are in a tower. They're in fear because conversation is in the reverse when it comes to this gift. We got communication here is saying goodbye. So yeah, double whammy, man. We've got no more conversation with the gift, the anomaly, the star, the love of Divine Mother, and there's goodbye to any of that communication. Goodbye to astral traveling, goodbye to telepathic communication, goodbye to literal communication. You can't play in the energy, you can't receive any of the gifts. No more will you ever be served by the love of the divine anomaly, the stars. Never ever going to have it. The divine stated, you will never give it back. Never will you give it back. These ones will never receive the gifts and the delight that you offered them. It's done. Centuries went by and they made certain to let the Lord know, to let the Most High God know exactly where they stood in their heart, in their mind, and what their intentions were. They did it over and over and over again. They never thought twice about it. They only doubled down on their efforts. Teamwork. Fear. So this team of mask wearers are in fear. They've been stopped. They've lost. They've lost. Those who were hurting you and finding themselves so freaking entertained by it are now in fear. It could be that your team, High Priestess, Hierophant, Emperor, Queen of Cups, Star, Queen of Wands, could be that your team of anomalies is bringing fear to these mask wearers on behalf of the Lord, on behalf of the Commander. Yeah, they're messed up. They're messed up in the head. It should be over tomorrow, I'm thinking. This curator thought tomorrow would be a thing. But somebody was here saying they were going to stay another 2 years. Now, I don't know. This is a fraudster, I think. Somebody's going to be here for the next 2 years. It's like they're staying behind to see what they can find. And there's either a mole here or something. They got a plan to be here for the next 2 years. I don't know who this is. But everybody that was bringing upheaval to the territory, everybody that wanted to turn this home into a battlefield are being released. The imposter isn't going to get the money. The Queen of Wands has been determined to live her life, and she made a commitment to caring for the physical vessel that enshrines her soul to the best of her ability, despite the intentional poisoning of the food supply and the air supply and everything else in this world. She did the best she could with what she had. So those who were sacrificing stars, anomalies, for profit and gain, there's no forgiveness for this entire network. They were tricking people into marriage contracts and then widowing themselves. Because they wanted the abundance, they wanted the luck, they wanted the energy, but they wanted the person that was giving that stuff to them to suffer. They didn't want to just get married and say, oh honey, we're going to go build fantastic things together. No, they tricked somebody into a contract and then unalive them, sacrifice them to some shadow demon so that they could keep a percentage of the freaking light, of the energy, of the gifts. They settled for a percentage of what was offered to them in sweet love and faith, when they could have had it all. So the Queen of Cups is being disconnected from these people, and they're having doubt. They don't know what to do. This servant is traveling. This servant is traveling, or the services that they have been being provided are going away. And we've got nature. Number 32. So, yeah, the energy is all around, and it could be that they're traveling. So what this servant is traveling, and we've got nature. They could be traveling for whatever their nature was to bring harm. They weren't able to rise up into the love frequency. They were insisting on dragging the anomalies down into the pain and suffering frequency. That was their method. This Hierophant's method and intentions behind these marriage contracts. This Hierophant was setting people up with bad contracts, knowing that they were going to be unalived for profit. He knew it. He knew it. He had insight by mind reading people who had the special gifts, who had whatever. And then they targeted that person and sent in some schmuck to go be their wonder love. And then they'd get a marriage contract, and then they'd sacrifice them. It was a freaking business. This Hierophant is not godlike. They were doing bad things in the name of God as a man to the Divine Mother in all of her aspects, tricking them into marriage contracts so that they could be sacrificed. Now they're in grief. It could be that they got distracted when you were isolated. They isolated you. They isolated you and scavenged all of your wealth from a freaking distance. They brought negative influences into the heart bond, into the marriages. Jezebel, gigolo, succubus, incubus, all these thieving, all this profit, all this opportunity. And they brought risk to commitment and empty nest. They brought risk to the children of commitments. Playing around in other people's houses, astral projecting, remote viewing, coming in at the midnight hour, hanging around, watching you sleep, watching you take a crap, watching you in bath time, whatever. Watching you survive their attempt to feast on you. All the night creatures were feasting on you and watching you survive, and you did. They were pulling up all the seeds that you were planting in the territory. They wanted to make it seem as though you were worthless and unworthy. But you resisted the mischief, and you were dedicated to your health. You were dedicated to the light in you, and you were dedicated to this sacred space. You kept planting seeds even though they kept pulling them up. And now you have this whole community has their freedom. There's a whole community here of anomalies, of stars that have their freedom from these ghosts who have an upside down perspective. They're being displaced. They're being removed from the territory. And they're anticipating an empty room, like nobody wants to deal with them. These people are fraudsters. Maybe they're anticipating dealing with the trickery for the past. They got to make preparations for the history of what they've done. The need for vengeance is in the history according to the divine, and these ones have racked up centuries of violence that must be repaid. They'll never pay it back because they gave people impossibility after impossibility after impossibility. So even if they manage to graduate up through one level of impossibility, they still have so many others that they have to do it over and over and over again. They can't just come up and graduate out of one level of possibility. They still have a whole nother anomaly, a whole nother star out there that they got to repay a debt to, because they were dominating them. So now you're leaving, you're soaring, you're out of here. You're leaving those dominators or these tyrants or whatever they are behind, because your growth has been observed. While they were hurting you, you grew. You didn't turn into malice. You didn't decide to war. You didn't go learn witchcraft so that you could throw darts at somebody or call up some demon and get all nasty. You didn't do any of that. You went direct to the source, the Most High God, and you waited patiently. And now wrath is upon these people. While you get balance, you get your gifts. You're probably going to get all the gifts that they stole from you from previous centuries. And your children are protected. Whatever these ones do to you is going to roll right off. Divine Mother, in one of her aspects, stated they cannot curse your land, they cannot curse your business, and they cannot curse your home, your child, your marriage. No Jezebel, no Gigolo, no succubus, no incubus, none of that crap. They can't come into your dream space anymore because they have been exposed and they're receiving a warning for their routine of illusion casting. It could be that they're being warned right now, but they're not going to get the opportunity to do that to you again. It's over for them. Well, that's the message that I have for you. I hope that this brings clarity to something that you already intuitively knew, and I will see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.